Hi everyone, Andrew here from the Time Series Insights Program Management Team. In this video, I'd like to walk through why Time Series Insights exists, specifically having a look at the problem space that Internet of Things customers face today, the scenarios that they'd like to build out in the cloud, and how Time Series Insights addresses these problems. Further, we'll have a look at Time Series Insights as a service, exploring the different components that make up Time Series Insights, how to use Time Series Insights and the different experiences that Time Series Insights delivers, and then we'll discuss some other common scenarios for using Time Series Insights. One of the core problems associated with the Internet of Things is what to do with all of that data. Now, Internet of Things, or IoT sensor data, typically consists of time series data. Now, this is data that is more meaningful to measure over time. While one point in time is useful, it's more important to look at why something happened and the behavioral change of a particular sensor thing over time to help you understand what might have caused something or what direction it might be trending in. Now, this sensor data is typically grouped into logical buckets. So in this case, we have things like generators. And within each of these generators, they're sending messages over time. So in this case, we've got temperature, we've got power draw, and we've got vibration. And each of these disparate signals is emitting telemetry on some set interval. And sometimes these intervals are at the same time, sometimes they're at different times. But regardless, they're generally sending data on a regular basis from the device to a gateway or even directly to the cloud itself. Now, for an operator to be able to start to understand why something might have occurred, it's more useful to start to look across all of these different sensors. And so to find correlation or to understand causation of a particular event, like an anomaly or when something breaks down, it's generally very useful to look across multiple streams of data to understand why something occurred. Now, when you start to look at the scale of Internet of Things, what you quickly get to is a world where millions, if not billions of messages are being pushed from devices or gateways around the world to one particular repository that you want to put them in. It is challenging to store this data. And if you need to store this data in a way where you want to be able to use it in near real time, or to empower operators, process engineers, or plant managers to be able to go and to derive meaningful insights when they need it in mission critical situations, you need to store this data in a way that makes sense. And the data is going to continue to grow. The world is projected to generate 4 zettabytes of time series data in 2020 alone. And to build a service that can scale massively and help operators find insights quickly, we created Time Series Insights. At its core, Time Series Insights is a fully managed, in-memory, and SSD-based data platform that delivers near real-time analytics on time series data and is stored in the cloud. So let's break that down a little bit. Within Time Series Insights, there are 5 critical components that underlie the service. The first is a seamless event processor. Time Series Insights is integrated directly with Azure IoT Hub, as well as Azure Event Hubs, so that you don't have to build an event processor. As soon as you push messages into one of these services that's connected to Azure Time Series Insights will read messages directly from this event source and will ingress as well as index that data in TSI. Now, the next thing it does is it will enrich that data, and it will enrich it with reference data that you've loaded into Time Series Insights. This is a meaningful way to add contextual information to make it more powerful to query, as well as to send messages more efficiently over the wire. Next, Time Series Insights will store this data. And we store this data both in memory as well as on solid-state drives, such that the data is always hot. Data is typically available for querying sometime between 30 seconds and 1 minute after it is ingested into an event source. This means that for near real-time analytics, Time Series Insights delivers a performant cloud platform which you can use to query your data on demand. There's no need to heat it up or hydrate that data. The data is always sitting in a state that's going to make it easy to perform powerful queries on. And finally, Time Series Insights offers multiple ways through which you can actually analyze and query your data. We offer a Time Series Insights Query API that enables you to bake Time Series Insights directly into your own application and query data on demand. We also offer the Time Series Insights Explorer, a visualization experience that works out of the box and delivers powerful analytics on top of your data. Moreover, the Time Series Insights Explorer enables users across a variety of classes, ranging from data scientists or data analysts all the way to an asset operator or a process engineer to be able to perform powerful analytics on their data. And finally, Time Series Insights has also recently, as of June 2018, released a JavaScript visualization library that makes it even easier to bake powerful time series-based visualizations into your own custom application. We'll go through more of that in a separate video, but just be aware that it's very easy to bake Time Series Insights into your own app. Next, let's take a look at some of the core scenarios Time Series Insights customers are using the product for today. The first is interactive data exploration and tag trending. In this case, many of our customers want to be able to very quickly explore their data visually. The Time Series Insights Explorer makes it very, very simple to get started. If you've got an Azure IoT Hub or an Azure Event Hub that has data flowing into it, you can be exploring that data in a matter of seconds after you've connected those two sources. Next up is device validation and monitoring. This is when you're standing up an IoT solution and you want to make sure it's working. You want to validate that it's emitting telemetry as it should and that it looks like other devices that you've already connected to the cloud or that you've already brought online. Similarly, as time goes on, you want to monitor and validate that these things are working as you'd expect and that they're typically healthy. Third, we see people who want to troubleshoot or fine-tune equipment. Now, this is a classic scenario where something happens, whether it be an anomaly or something is broken, and you want to understand why something happened. And this is really where Time Series Insights provides a very powerful tool to quickly start to understand why these things occurred. You can compare similar sensors. You can compare sensors at different moments in time. You can compare sensors from different locations around the world. And you can compare and correlate the particular sensor that broke down or the asset that broke down to other assets leading up to that time. So you can start to understand why something occurred. And finally, we see a variety of applications that use Time Series Insights APIs to power KPIs, like overall equipment effectiveness, so that a variety of personas and users can start to understand, is something healthy right now? And see it in Time Series Insights or in their own application. And finally, customers are looking to build all of these scenarios as well as others into their own custom applications that they can use internally or with their customers. And Time Series Insights makes it incredibly easy to do that. Now, I'd like to spend a couple of minutes talking through the different APIs that Time Series Insights exposes. So in short, we have three buckets of APIs. Management APIs, which allow you to programmatically manage resources associated with Time Series Insights. Query APIs, which really do the heavy lifting associated with finding meaningful insights in your data. And finally, reference data APIs to manage all of the reference data sets you might store within Time Series Insights to perform CRUD operations on top of them. So our management APIs give us four key capabilities. The first is to create and delete environments. The second is to add event sources, like in Azure IoT Hub. The third is to add reference data sets. And then finally, you can add role assignments. So this is RBAC controls to Time Series Insights. Now with query APIs, I'm going to put these in two primary buckets. The top two are really the ones that call data. The other ones tell you information about the environment itself. So Get Environments Events API or /events enables you to get a list of all the raw data associated with a search span and a predicate. Similarly, the Aggregates API or /aggregates enables you to go and query data given properties with optional measures associated with those properties. Now, Get Environments Availability, or Get Environment Metadata tell you things about those environments. understanding which environments you have access to, getting a distribution of event counts over an event timestamp, and finally to get metadata associated with a given search span. Now, of these APIs, the slash aggregates is probably the one that most of our customers use on a frequent basis. Now, I'd like to spend a little bit of time talking about our aggregates API. Now, within our aggregates API, we have 5 major buckets: scalar expressions and scalar functions, both which produce scalar values. The third, which is aggregate expressions, and this is where I'm going to spend a little bit of time, and these are used to partition collections of events and to compute measures over their partitions. And finally, clauses, which form constituent components of input JSON queries and can also be part of an expression. Now, within the aggregate expressions, there are 4 key types of expressions that we see users use quite frequently. The first are unique value expressions, and these are used to group a set of events by values of a specified event property. The second are date histogram expressions, and this groups date time properties into buckets of a given size. So think of this as creating intervals. The third is numeric histogram expressions, which groups doubles, which is the type of integer value that time series insights handles, into a given number of buckets. And finally, we have measure expressions, and these are used inside aggregates clauses to compute a scalar value on a set of events. So some of the ones that we offer include sum, average, min, max, first, and last. And these are very powerful expressions that enable you to understand what for example, the last value that exceeded a certain threshold was, or the last known location of a particular ship, or even the average temperature of all your devices between a period of noon and 1 p.m. So this is a little bit of a flavor of what we expose with these APIs and what our users use quite frequently. Now, finally, we have reference data APIs, and we expose put, patch, delete properties to delete specified properties from the reference data item, delete of the overall reference data set, and finally get to identify the key property values specified within a particular reference data set. Now, using these APIs, I can build really powerful applications on top of them. To show you some first-party examples of this, what I'm currently looking at is Azure IoT Central, which is a really powerful, fully managed SaaS offering from Azure IoT for OEMs and device operators. Underneath this application is time series insights, in addition to a number of other Azure IoT services, powering this really, really powerful application. Similarly, Azure IoT's Connected Factory Solution Accelerator is using time series insights. Now, earlier we talked about OEE and KPIs, and here you'll see some of those that are being powered from time series insights query API. And if I drill down within this application, you'll notice that I can actually get down to a place where I can even go directly into time series insights to go deeper to analyze what's happening in a particular anomalous situation or associated with a particular event. Now, these are just a couple examples of some really innovative applications built on top of time series insights APIs, but we also provide several other ways to use time series insights. The first, and I would argue best way to use time series insights is actually using the time series insights Explorer. I can do some powerful things like trend a variety of aggregations over time. I can easily navigate between different periods of time, being able to stream many, many events in just a split second. I can quickly go under the hood and look at underlying events when I need to by right-clicking and selecting Explore Events. And this will show me all of the raw data, which I can export as needed. Now, what's interesting to point out here is that the Time Series Insights Explorer enables me to use right-click operations to easily do things that I could also do using more SQL-like syntax in the Terms panel on the left. It's here you'll notice that I can implement filtering operations, or I can do measure operations like average and sum, and I can even show min-max for a particular region. I've got a default auto Y scale on, but I can also manually input a Y auto scale. And you'll notice that I've got step interpolation that I can always see within the application itself. Now I can trend up to 5 terms at one time using this app. And if I want to, I can also compare multiple terms at the same time. And this could be multiple regions. It could even be multiple environments if I have access to multiple environments. So this gives me a powerful way to be able to compare the same sensors over different times, similar sensors at different environments, or even have more of an operator snapshot view of what's going on with my overall state of the assets I care about. Now, finally, I just like to show off we've got a heat map that makes it really easy to quickly contextualize yourself with a particular area of an environment. And Time Series Insights also has some accessibility features, notably the table, which provides a tabular view of all of the aggregates that are being displayed, is fully integrated with the narrator functions so that a user that has a disability can still gain a lot of value from Time Series Insights. You'll also notice that the table view is a great way to be able to export CSV of all of the aggregates very, very simply. Now, in addition to the Time Series Insights Explorer, and to some degree blending the Time Series Insights Explorer with the APIs, we've actually created a JavaScript control library. And what this control library does is it makes it incredibly easy to call Time Series Insights and to render data stored within Time Series Insights in your own application with very, very few lines of code. So while we have documentation and other videos that go into detail, the simple explanation of what the underlying control library does is it puts a wrapper around our APIs that make it just much more simple to author a query. And it also provides a means to very quickly and easily render JSON in a variety of different forms. Here you'll notice we have line charts, bar charts, I had pie charts above. And I can even do some things like put in discrete events or describe event stages, something like maintenance or a particular event that I'm aware of, and to be able to bake these into my own application very seamlessly. I've got things like right-click applications for me to be able to go and plot things or to take any right-click action that I wanted to implement in my app. And I can even implement a table, like an accessible grid, or a heat map into my application very seamlessly. So feel free to look for documentation there, but in short, we've made this very easy to implement yourself. And one example of that is the following application. In this application, I've implemented Azure Maps. I have a series of wind farms based in Calgary, Canada. And I can go and within just a very short period of time, I can build an application that allows me to start to see KPIs that I care about. You'll notice I have grid power. It looks like it's not very windy right now, but if it was, I would see the rotator RPMs, wind speed, and grid power. And I also see things like wind direction, wind speed, and temperature. Now this is very, very powerful, but it also takes advantage of the ability for me to go one step deeper. If I noticed something that was interesting on this particular chart, I could always go deep link into the Time Series Insights Explorer where I can actually go and do my own root cause analysis of the underlying data that's being displayed in my application that I've built. So these are just a few ways. So now we've covered a few different ways to use Time Series Insights. So the next step is for you to start using Time Series Insights on your own. The 3 best ways to get started are as follows. One is to head to our demo data set. If you follow the link insights.timeseries.azure.com/demo, you'll actually be directed to a place where you can explore a data set that we were in fact using today. We have a click through that takes you through how to start using the product. And if you want to, you can jump right into Time Series Insights and start exploring it for yourself. Now, if you don't have any data, but you'd like to start generating some data, we have some documentation and a video walkthrough that shows how to use a Microsoft Azure IoT Solution Accelerator to start generating some. If you head to azureiot-solutions.com/accelerators, you can get started on your own. There's some really easy ways to start building data and to push it into Time Series Insights. And this is the beginning of a full-blown IoT solution that you can build for yourself. Finally, if you have some of your own data, the best thing to do is to head to the Azure portal at portal.azure.com and just connect a data source like an Azure IoT Hub or an Event Hub to time series insights. Now, we have some suggestions for making sure you can get started easily, and you'll find that documentation. But if you're already pushing IoT data in JSON that time series insights accepts, you should be able to get started in just a few seconds. So with that, thank you very much for taking the time to watch this video, and thanks for trying the product.